Can you imagine if there's a book that they wrote about every detail of your life? It's all in there. Everything you ever said, everything you saw, everything you heard, and everything you did is in that book. And there are millions of copies about to be distributed around the world. How embarrassing. What would you do? How much would you pay to erase the book, to burn every single copy of it? And the answer is, you can. It's called Yom Kippur. The Chinuch tells us that Yom Kippur is one of the greatest chasodim that the Rabbi Shalom gives to Klal Yisrael. One day in the year to be able to wipe everything clean. It's scheduled in the calendar, and it means that it's possible. We can do it. We can leave this Yom Kippur completely cleansed of everything we ever did wrong throughout the entire year. But we have to admit it. The Svarim HaKadoshim tell us that if I would admit to something that would obligate me to pay for what I did wrong, just admitting it exempts me. And therefore, we spend the entire day in Yom Kippurim doing vidui, because we're man enough to say, yes, we did something wrong. And the moment we do that, the moment we admit that we did something wrong, the Rabbi Shalom says, I'm ready to take you back. And he's waiting. Rav Yitzchak Zilberstein's Shlita brings in the Sefer Aleinu L'Shabeach a Mordecai Maisa. He talks about a boy called Meshulam. This boy Meshulam was a star pupil, a great Talmud in Cheder. Until the age of 17, everything changed. His mother unfortunately passed away, and Meshulam's Yiddishkeit must have died together with his mother. He declined and declined until one day he turns to his grieving father and he says, Dad, I'm just letting you know, I'm taking a trip to India with some of my friends. His father was shocked. What does a frum boy have in India? He looks at his father and he laughs. A frum boy? I'm not frum anymore. I'm looking for meaning elsewhere. I hope you'll forgive me. His father, who at the time was still grieving losing his wife, said, forgive you? Absolutely not. If that's how you treat me, if that's what you could do to me after everything that we've gone through and everything I've given you, absolutely not. I will never forgive you. Those were the last words that Meshulam heard from his father. A few months later, after spending time in India, he's got this nagging feeling about his father. He tried to call a few times, but no answer. He meets an old friend from New York in the marketplace in India, and they start reminiscing about olden times. And his friend said to Meshulam, I'm so sorry to hear about your father. He said, sorry? What happened to my father? Oh, you didn't hear? He passed away a couple of months after you left. They say it was because of the tsar and the pain that you gave him, and he left this world. Meshulam was not the same person. He was completely broken. It was like someone stabbed him in the heart. He didn't know what to do. It was only a few weeks later and he decided and told his friends, that's it, I can't stay here anymore. I'm going to Israel. And they laughed at him and they tried to persuade him not to go, but he had made up his mind. He's going to Israel. He gets on a flight, he goes to Israel, and he comes to the very first place, and that's the Kosel HaMaravi. And he's crying and he's crying. He feels so bad. He's not able to tell his father where he's holding. He's not able to ask for forgiveness. And he realizes what he's done wrong. He decides he's going to write a note. And he writes it down in a note. I, Meshulam, I'm asking forgiveness from my father. If only you can hear me, please forgive me. And I promise I will go in your path. He folds up the note and he puts it in between one of the cracks of the kosel. But it fell out. He reached down on the floor to pick it up. He put it back in. It fell out again. And one more time. 3 times. He wasn't able to put the note in the kosel. And he felt this was like a sign from Shamayim. I guess they're not accepting my teshuvah. But he says, I'm going to try just one last time. He takes a chair. He goes much higher up, where there's a much bigger crack. And he manages to put his hand in all the way to make sure the note stays in. And it stays in. But another note comes out together with it. He reaches down to pick it up. He would never look at it. That's not right. But he saw on it, it says, to my son Meshulam. He thought, that's strange. He opened it up. It was his father's note. His father had written a note a few months earlier, before he died, and had said, to my dear Meshulam, if only you would know how much I forgive you, how much I love for you, and how much I want you to return. The Rabbi Shalom should give you bracha in your life. You should find the right path, marry, and make future generations of Yiddish neshamas. That was just too much for Meshulam to bear. He couldn't take it. He broke down and sobbed, and he sobbed. It wasn't long until he realized what he needed to do. He changed his ways. He married a frum girl and now lives in Yerushalayim with a bunch of frum, beautiful children. That's the power of Teshuvah. That's the opportunity that the Rebbeinu Shalom gives us every single Yom Kippur. Let's do that. Let's stand up this Yom Kippur, admit what we've done wrong, and say, Rebbeinu Shalom, just take us back. And then the Rebbeinu Shalom opens up his arms, gives us a hug, and takes us back. I'd like to wish everyone a Gemach Sima Tova and a Gid Geben Shiah.
To listen to more by Rabbi Avi Wiesenfeld, visit